Hello and welcome back for another video from Nottingham Music Excellence. So today I'm joined with Rob Colley. I'm going to chat with him about his time here at Rugby School, and we're going to have a bit of fun and record a bit of music together. I hope you really enjoy the video. Here we go. Some of these bigger piano projects like the Rachmaninoff D flat, do you think, I always think that some of these huge piano pieces, are they more of like an ongoing project, that you could work on for your whole life,
Yeah, I think that's
compared to some of the like 2-minute clarinet works or 5-minute clarinet works. These pieces are so vast, aren't they?
They are, and a lot of piano repertoire, I think it's funny, you sort of hang it on yourself, and then it matures and you take it, you might know or play these pieces over, depending how old you are, over a number of years, and they change, and every time you come back to them, you reappraise them, you change them. It's quite interesting, isn't it, if you see how much your own particular interpretation of a piece changes over the years. That's why it's nice, I think, to have some recordings of things at different ages and have them catalogued, which of course now it's a lot easier to do than when I was a kid and we had them all on cassettes and then they all got jumbled up into bits of cassettes.
Still got stretched.
But I think a piece sticks with you and then it matures, it might get worse, hopefully it'll get better. But yes, definitely. I think that you can have them for a lifetime. I mean, I'm very fond of Scriabin sonatas, but first of all, they take a lot of learning, but secondly, they change so much. What's interesting is if you perform them at one time, what I find, because I often perform from memory, and then years later go back and have a look, can't remember it, put the music, what the heck's that? Have I ever played that? It's because it's something like a D double flat, and when you look at it, if you play it looks like a C to me.
So harmonically complicated.
Go back, try and do the rational stuff on it, and it doesn't mix too well with the previously programmed memory thing.
Yeah.
It's a very complicated way the mind works, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's also a lot easier to play piano when you've got the thing from memory, because you just concentrate on the performance. I think that's right. I don't think it's about showing off. It's first of all,
Yeah.
you can see where you're going.
Yeah.
I always encourage people to look down at the hands. Also because I had teachers, don't look at your hands, you know, look at the music. If you're looking at music, you don't even know the piece, is it? And you wouldn't.
Yeah.
I think an actor needs to know the
Yeah.
lines. The same thing
Yeah.
with a piano. It's just it fits better. It's physical.
Yeah.
The piece was created by the composer from memory because there was no music, was it? And then he puts it on here. That's just a way of communicating it to somebody. So I mean, that's a very useful thing. Most people who play from memory, they do it because it's easier while they're doing it. There was a sort of bullying aspect. I think that's gone out a bit, hasn't it? Where everybody had to play from memory on the piano, you know, like the academy and stuff, and also in these
Yeah.
international competitions.
Yeah,
You're not allowed in. Oh, it's got to be from memory. Or I was
Yeah.
in Vienna for a year.
It doesn't suit
Das
everyone.
muss auswendig gelernt werden. That was.
When you think about it as well, the piano repertoire spans back so long as well compared to, say, woodwind instruments.
Absolutely.
How do you approach, like, if you're trying to play some Scarlatti or some Mozart? Obviously, the instruments we play on today are so different. What advice would you give for playing those sort of works on such a big modern piano with such a huge sound?
Well, it does have challenges, doesn't it? I mean, the pieces weren't devised for some instrument of this caliber, but nevertheless, I mean, it's a beautiful instrument, and if you're playing beautiful music, then you want to play it on the best instrument possible. So I would never deter anybody from playing Baroque music on the piano. I'm sure that as a compromise instrument, for example, for the Bach's Forte, Prose and Fugues, the piano is the winner, even though it wasn't around at the time that they were written. I'm sure if Bach had one of these Steinway Model Bs, he'd have probably
He'd be perfectly
written a
happy
few
with it.
tunes now. Because of what you can do on these, which I mean, you know, some of the Forte, just as an example, are specifically suited for a harpsichord or others for a clavichord, some possibly for an organ with more sustain. You can do a pretty good compromise of all of those features on a modern day piano. Yeah. I mean, some people then swear by like no pedal in Bach. I mean, I think however you play Bach, you're going to upset somebody. You know? So I think you just got, my advice to you would just be to do what makes you happy and what makes you feel genuine as a performer. And you can tell me off for that if you like. I mean, I've had so many teachers over the years telling me to do this. No, this must be so. And then you go to the next one and say, what on earth you're doing? You can't do that. You've got to do that. So you've got to play with flat fingers. You've got to play with curved fingers. You've got to play the eye shut. You've got to play the pedal on. You've got to play the pedal off. At the end of the day, you've got to find your own way, haven't you?
Yeah.
And I love playing Bach on piano. It's absolutely fantastic. I had a particularly great teacher when I was at the Royal Academy, and I think he made me see the more sort of full-sounded romantic aspect of Bach. Not that I play it like this, but I think you can use the sound quality, can't you, on any instrument?
Yeah.
And I think when people are looking at Baroque articulation, they can also become quite austere with the sound, and I don't see the reason for that. The idea that people living in the 17th century were somehow devoid of any emotion or any expression, isn't it? And they were cramped up in a little, this slur and this note's got tick, tick. Sorry if I'm offending you, purists, but I will be. Right. Is that what you meant? Baroque style stuff?
think that leads on to something else as well, because I noticed when I was in the early years of playing the piano, when I was trying to improve my piano, I found it so difficult to play from one instrument to the next. It really put me off.
Yep.
And I think as a more experienced player, you don't think anything of it, do you? You just go from one keyboard to the next. But I think as a young player, when you practice on one instrument, you go to another one. Perhaps if you learn on an upright at home or something, and then you're faced with a big, monstrous grand piano, it's very intimidating, isn't it?
It is very
just
intimidating.
that whole thing of looking up so much higher to the music.
Yeah.
It takes a bit of getting used to, doesn't it?
I think so. And I mean, when you get a young student who's been on an upright coming to a grand, maybe the first, in the exam, it may be the first time they've ever had it. And
yeah,
sometimes they don't know where to put the music, it drops down. So I used to do a bit of examining actually, and you know, you try and help people out. Absolutely right. I mean, it's the only instrument, isn't it, that you don't bring your instrument to the gig.
Yeah, I think that's very tricky.
And it is very tricky. And I think what you learn is, or you need to learn, is how, as a player, as a performer, is how to get the very best out of whatever instrument you've got.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've got some beauty like this, well, you're lucky, aren't you? We can't all afford one of these. But if you've got some old Mrs. Mills upright piano and you turn up for a gig, then you've just got to get the best sound out of it you can. And you can always get a better sound out of an instrument.
I guess as you get a little bit older and you get more strength in your fingers, that gives you more confidence in the sound, I guess.
I think so. And also having loads of experience of playing on like every type of piano, from the absolute worst with just had 10 pints of beer poured inside it. I remember once playing at some music, I can't remember where it was now, just as well I won't name it, but playing at Beethoven Opus 111, and you know, there was no in that bit of the trill at the end, an upright piano, and the strings snap, boom, so but you keep going and you smile, don't you? I think that's the thing. And never be rude about an instrument. Poor little piano's probably been sitting in the cupboard for 300 years. It's doing its best, isn't it? So you have to help it and work with it.
Yeah.
What I find amazing as well with the piano is that because people share instruments, which makes it difficult, doesn't it? In COVID, we have to wash the piano down. Everybody gets a different sound out of the same instrument. If you sit and listen to a group of people playing the same instrument, they all personalise their sound. It's like an interaction between...
That's quite strange, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I think because, you know, Chris, you take your clarinet to the gig. Chris,
sounds like a violin sometimes.
No, so you know what to expect, and you know exactly what it's going to feel like. But it's quite stressful. I tell you what's quite stressful. If you're doing a concerto and you get up and you haven't played in the room at all, and then you just stop. It takes you the first few bars to realise that this one's going, or if the lights in your eyes or something, all of that type of thing.
And of course, I guess when you rehearse, it's a different sound to when the hall is packed with
it is,
people
isn't
as
it?
well. Very
because
different.
You've got a different acoustic with the audience. I'll tell you what's nice about a piano. You can just sit there on your own. You've got like it's almost like a whole orchestra, isn't it? You don't have to.
Yeah.
You can be sociopathic as well. You don't have to interact with anybody. You can just do all of that. You've got all the music.
Have you got any projects in mind for 2021? Any sort of larger works that you'd like to learn?
I'm actually going. I'm learning or relearning some lists. I quite like lists. I didn't used to play them a lot when I was young, but I like the harmony. I played some of the concert studies, and I'm finally having a go at the Campanella as well because I've had so many pupils learning it, and I've never learned it. So it's no good me telling them what to do with that. I realise it's actually quite difficult.
I look forward to recording that one later
well,
in
I'll
the year.
have to practice it a bit first, I think. Yeah. And some Scriabin as well. I've really liked the Scriabin starters from number 4 up to number 10, and I've played it a lot, but I'm trying to like put them all together and make some more recordings. But again, as you said, that's a big project. I've got some that I've known for years, and others I'm just learning. So.
Do you think
It's like a separate point. Sorry.
they're very interesting you mentioned YouTube, because I think the younger generation now, or in fact all of us, I don't think we appreciate just the sheer level of brilliance that we can just instantly access on YouTube. You can hear any player, can't you? The top handful of players in the world, like your Lang Langs and your people like that, you can just hear them, you don't think anything of it.
No.
You know, when we were studying and learning our instrument, you had to go and buy the record or the CD,
Exactly.
or you had to wait till they came in your area and do a concert or something. But now people just get so used to, we can just instantly access those players and watch it for 10 seconds and flick on someone else. And do you think that kind of dilutes it slightly?
Yeah, I do. I think it dilutes it a lot because you don't get so specifically emotionally attached to any particular thing. As you said, if you make the effort to go out and buy the record, then you might really like it. I mean, we've talked about certain performances that you really like or I really like. I remember when I was learning when I was a kid, people might say, "Oh, you should hear. Oh, have you heard? I don't know, Michelangelo. Nobody plays this like Michelangelo." Well, I can then go on. I do like Michelangelo. I can go on and hear it on YouTube. That's right. And then I can hear somebody else, and I can hear 50 different people playing a piece I'm working on. I think that is an advantage, but it also makes it a bit more superficial. Your connection with it.
I think it's very diluted, isn't it? Because I remember when I was really getting into classical music, and you'd go and buy a CD of something, you were invested in that. In that CD, weren't you? You'd listen to it.
And you would listen to it.
And you would build up like this library of your favourite recordings, wouldn't you, in your head, and the way you like a certain piece to go.
Yes.
I wonder if new musicians that are coming up now actually develop that same sort of investment in a particular performance, because they've just got so many performances on tap.
It's less likely they will, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
And also, like, if you have a download, you have less emotional connection with it than, say, buying a piece of vinyl with a sleeve and the picture of it. I know exactly what you mean, because I was like that with certain pieces that I like listening to, and then if I heard a different performance, I wouldn't like it at all, because it might be great, but you have to just take the time, don't you? Just stand back from it, listen to it multiple times.
When you've got a particular recording that you love, it's quite hard to hear anything that you like better than that, isn't it, afterwards?
Yeah, it's also very easy to say, oh, I don't like that at all, and that's rubbish, and they've completely missed the point, which is also perhaps not an unhealthy approach, is it?
Thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed all the music. I hope you had as much fun as we did recording it. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.
Bye.